So guess what I'm going to talk about today then? Hi lovely bag ladies, it's me Michelle here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about one of the things that I'm quite passionate about, and that is Disney, and especially going to the Disney parks. You've probably seen on my Instagram and on other videos that I've made that Disney is a very big part of mine and my family's life. We've gone on vacation there loads of times. I've been very fortunate that I've gone to Orlando 7 or 8 times, and I've gone to Paris Disneyland about the same amount of times in my lifetime. I absolutely adore those holidays, and I adore Disney as a company as well, and I thought I'd just share with you how that got started for me. So my first big memory of Disney was when I was about 5 or 6, and my mum took me to my first ever cinema to go see a re-release of Sleeping Beauty. Now when I was a kid in the 80s in this country, videos weren't a huge deal. When I was 5 or 6, people still had Betamaxes. We had a Betamax, and it was the size of a house, and we had to take the wall out to get it in. But the videos for it were like £30, and back in 1980 whatever, that was just disgusting, and my parents couldn't afford that. So we didn't really get to watch Disney unless it was on television, and it wasn't on television much in this country, aside from the occasional thing. When I was about 5 or 6, it all changed by the end of the decade, but when I was about 5 or 6 it just wasn't on. So to be taken to the cinema to see this movie, Cinderella, I remember being so excited. I remember my mum putting me in a pretty puffball dress and sitting there with my little bag of sweets that we'd smuggled in, and it was just lovely to be taken away and to enjoy something with my mum and have a lovely time. About 2 years later, my nan, my very famous nan by now, made the decision to sell up her house and travel the world. Now I say that like it's a completely normal thing for your 60-odd-year-old nan to do, but she did that. Her and my grandfather went on a world tour with the proceeds of their house. Forward thinking there. She came back after about, I think she was gone for about 4 or 5 months, and she came back and she gave me this. Now this is undoubtedly my most treasured possession ever. I don't let my children touch it. It doesn't come out very often except when I want to have a quick look at things. So this is a Walt Disney World album, I suppose. It's just a book saying about Disney and about things that happened. Now this book is roughly from about 1986 or 7, so it's very old. It's you know, it's getting to be very old. A lot of it is outdated. It's got stuff in it from, you know, when, I mean, I don't know how well all of you watching this know Disney, but for example, it's got a book about, this page is about Communicore, and Communicore closed in the mid-90s, so it's a time capsule piece. But my nan bought it for me, and I poured over this, poured my heart and soul into reading this every night for about 10 years almost, and it's come with me to university, and it doesn't leave my being, basically. And so from that moment, I wanted to go to Disney. I had to go to Disney. It was like I had to do it. And we are incredibly fortunate that I have very close relatives who live in Orlando. So 1991, my mother is a single mother of 2 children, doesn't have much money, scrapes together enough money and enough favours to get me, her and my brother on a plane to Orlando to go stay with my uncle for 3 weeks. And she walked into the Disney park with us, into the Magic Kingdom, and she looked stunning in like her Bermuda shorts and her white vest top and happy as anything. And me and my brother had on big, ridiculous, oversized Mickey. I had a Minnie Mouse hat, I think, and Jamie had a, what did he have? He had a different hat on. We had on these big plastic, heavy, sweaty hats, great idea for Orlando, that my uncle had bought when we got there. And I felt the weight of the world lift off my mother within 5 steps of walking into the park. And it was the happiest 3 weeks I had as a kid. And we ate out and we played with the characters and we went on rides and my mum was playing with us, and it was just... Since that moment, Disney has held a very special place in my heart as a place that I can retreat to get myself feeling better and get myself together. So when I was a teenager, I went there a couple of times. I went there again with my parents. And then I went with an ex of mine and his family, and that was lovely because his family were great, and we had a really great holiday. And then I've been fortunate enough to go with my husband to Orlando twice. Once on his first ever flight to America, which was great, and then again we went on another big holiday before we had the children. And alongside this, we did manage to get over to Disneyland Paris because it's a much more affordable option, and we went there quite a lot when I was growing up, and I went there with school on school trips. And I know, school trip to Disney, wicked. And then since my sister-in-law's had her children, we went every other year for a while, and then we had our kids, and last year we took the boys on their first ever Disney vacation, and I had that moment again when I was walking through the gates with my two children and all the weight lifted off me, and I knew exactly how my mother felt. That we'd worked so hard at that point to get the kids to Disney, and we were there, and we had a great week, and we're really looking forward to going back next year, and this time taking our daughter, who obviously hasn't gone to Disney, but is a complete Disney fiend. She runs around going, Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse. So my favourite things about Disney and going on a Disney vacation is that I love, especially with Orlando, that the guest comes first, and nothing is too much for anybody to do for you, and you feel a camaraderie with everyone else that goes there, because when people go to Disney, the majority of them are Disney nuts like I am. They're not, you know, oh, well, should we go to Disney? Yeah, we might as well. Disney costs a lot of money. Disney is not a cheap undertaking. So if you're going to Disney, you tend to be a bit of a Disney freak. You don't tend to just rock up to Disney accidentally. I love that everything at Disney is brought around the idea of being able to do things with your family and being able to all enjoy a singular experience, opposed to, well, that part of the park is for teenagers and that part of the park is for babies, and that part. The majority of rides and attractions at all of the parks can be enjoyed by everybody, and I really appreciate that as a mother now, and I know why my mum appreciated it so much too. I'm going to do a different video during Vlogmas about my favourite Disney films, I think, but here are my top 5 attractions from the Disney parks that I've gone to. Number 5, it's sadly gone, but my favourite thing at Disneyland Paris's second park, Studios Park, was Animagique, which was this amazing stage show with luminescent paint and cutouts, and it had the most catchy theme tune ever. It's a ringtone on my phone for my best friend because she loves it just as much as me. And I know they've made way for a much better show, Mickey and the Magician, but that will always have a very special place in my heart. My 4th favourite ride at Disney parks, and I'm doing this as ever, not just ones that are there or not anymore, again, is another closed ride, and that's Horizons, that used to be at Epcot. Now, Horizons was a ride that was touted as the sequel to Carousel of Progress. So you went in on a really clever people walker, and then onto a swinging gondola car, and you went through the past, the present and the future, and how technology was helping us become better people. But all I'll remember from it is the smell of oranges and the optimism for the future, and it was a brilliant little ride. I loved it. My 3rd favourite ride in both the parks actually is Pirates of the Caribbean. I love Yo Ho Ho Ho. I love singing along, I love the animatronics, I love the water ride of it. It's great. I have such a great time. Whenever I go to either of them, it's one of my favourite things to do. My 2nd favourite ride ever is Star Tours. Now, I haven't ridden the new 2.0 Star Tours. I've only done the old Star Tours because the Paris version only got changed out last year. I'm really looking forward to trying the new version, but the old version has a really soft place in my heart. Me and my family are big Star Wars fans. I'll never forget walking into Hollywood Studios and seeing that giant AT-AT and just being like, oh my god, it's amazing. And we used to just ride it on a loop, me and my mum. My mum is a massive Star Wars nut. Great time, fantastic ride. And lastly, my favourite ride of Disney is Soaring. I haven't done Around the World again because I have not been to Epcot since they changed it out to the new one, but It's everything I love about a Disney attraction. It's optimistic, it's encompassing, it's communicating with the audience, it's playing with all of your senses, so you smell things, you feel things. The music is amazing. The actual technology behind it is a fantastic ride. I think it would have been definitely something that Walt would have been really, really proud of. I would love for them to open one in Paris. That would be amazing. Honourable mention, however, has to quickly go to one of the new rides at Disneyland Paris. Ratatouille is such a clever little ride. You're in a mouse with no track, run by magnets, in a 3D theatre, but there's big props and there's 4D. Astoundingly clever. However, I was distracted the whole time because my youngest son was absolutely terrified of it, and so I was trying to look after him. So I didn't fully enjoy it. So I'm hoping I get to do that when I go back. And there we go. So I hope you guys understand a bit more about why I love Disney so much. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.